Zimbabwe's leader Robert Mugabe has rejected international calls for the postponement of Friday's presidential election. The United States has warned that the rest of the world will reject any attempt by Mr. Mugabe to declare himself president. And in South Africa, the governing party, the ANC, has accused the Zimbabwean government of riding roughshod over hard-won democratic rights. Our Africa correspondent Ola Guerin has been following all of the developments from Johannesburg.
Our people.
Increasingly isolated but defiant as ever, Robert Mugabe had a message for his critics today. Mind your own business.
Those who will want to recognize us on the basis of objectivity will do so. Those who don't want, keep your judgment to yourselves. But our people are going to vote, and that vote will decide.
But this is vote management, Zimbabwe style. And the regime may beat and threaten people into going to the polls on Friday. It's been getting plenty of practice. And plenty of criticism. Now, for the first time, South Africa, the regional power, has joined in, backing last night's condemnation at the United Nations. Newspapers here are depicting Robert Mugabe as an election bully, not a liberation hero. The tactics used by his ZANU-PF party, now rejected by a former comrade in arms.
Much as we were together with ZANU-PF for many years, but certainly we cannot agree with what ZANU-PF is doing at this point in time. I think it has gone out of hand, out of control.
But in the face of all this, Robert Mugabe seems to have set his sights on keeping power, whatever the damage to his reputation. This was his last inauguration as president. African leaders standing by his side. If he swears himself in again, the guest list may be much shorter, but he'll still be in charge. And tonight it's unclear if there's any way to stop him stealing victory. There are emergency diplomatic moves being made in this region. Tomorrow, key southern African leaders will meet in Swaziland. But time's running out, and with just days to go to Friday's vote, it seems Robert Mugabe has the upper hand. Ola Guerin, BBC News, Johannesburg.
Waiting to talk to us now is Brook. He's served as the Deputy Ambassador of Ethiopia to the United States and is currently at George Washington University in Washington, from where he joins us now. Welcome to BBC News. In terms of South Africa and the ANC, first of all, do you think the ANC should have come out well before now to condemn Mr. Mugabe?
Absolutely. The ANC should have come up earlier, but it's better late than never, as the saying goes. So in this sense, I would say welcome on board regarding ANC. But also we have to go back and see why the ANC had kept have been quiet. The relationship between ZANU-PF and ANC goes back decades. So I think that's one major reason among others.
And what about Thabo Mbeki? He's been criticised as well, hasn't he, for not coming out more strongly and getting involved. Is he in a difficult position because he's been trying to mediate between the two sides?
Yes, indeed, President Mbeki is in a tight position, and the fact is his credibility is at stake. I mean, you can you can give support to your old comrade in arms, another big brother, so to speak, of the 60s, 70s and 80s, but you can't hold on to him when he passes the line between doing right and wrong. He should tell him straight that is wrong. So he should he should have refrained from supporting him. But anyhow, now the ANC, it seems, the South African government, the regional power hub of the region, had taken a stand, and that's remarkable. That's a good step forward, and I think they could pull their strings and bring some kind of constructive and concrete solutions.
So you think then there is still room, still time, in fact, for reconciliation at this stage, even though Mr. Mugabe is digging his heels in and saying that he is going to go ahead with the elections on Friday and therefore will take power? Indeed,
there is room for negotiation and to bring the two sides together. As you might recall, in December 2007, an attempt was made to mediate the two. They had made formally and informally in South Africa, but the negotiation had failed, and then the March 2008 election had taken place. Now, it takes two to tango to make peace, and I think the ball is now in the court of President Mugabe and not the MDC. They have tried their best, and the level of violence, the scale, the scope of violence, and intimidation and terror had increased. And with such situation this coming Friday, I would say there would be no fair election with this situation. But the SADC, SADC, when they meet tomorrow in Swaziland, they could also pull some strings, and also the African Union and also the UN Security Council, at least to bring some sense to President Robert Mugabe, who is oblivion or who lives in some kind of fantasy land, which is unbecoming of an African liberation leader. He's tarnishing his name. He could have written his name in gold, but that was not possible. And the success and failure of Zambia is also the success of and failure of all African people who are aspiring to have democracy, rule of law, good governance, and fair and free elections. So the stake, that's how I see the situation now.
Brook Hailu Basha, many thanks indeed for your thoughts and being with us.
You are quite welcome. Appreciate it.
Now,